welcome back to the Grinning Dragon, everybody. This is Christopher. Today I'm going over my honest review on Warhammer Plus. So I subscribed to it. It's got about 1 month on there right now. Just want to see how it goes, and every week I'll go ahead and put an update on Friday on my thoughts on the new content that comes up apparently every Wednesday. So I say Friday because it gives me enough time to go ahead and absorb the content that's on there on Wednesdays, and then go ahead and post it down here. Now, this right here is just the launch page of warhammerplus.com. If you want to go look at it yourself, I'll put a link down below. Simple, just go ahead, check it out. If you're in the US, it's about $5.99 a month. For the whole year, 12 month subscriptions, $59.99. You also get 2 months for free for that price, so just keep that in mind. Okay, right now, of course, you get the Warhammer TV content, apps, and archives. Meaning, that's for Warhammer 40k currently only for the app, and then you also get the archives, which is like their White Dwarf magazines and any lore that is no longer available, like lore books. I'll get to that here shortly. You also get unlocked exclusive miniatures so long as you have been subscribed for 1 whole year. Okay, so again, you got to choose when you go ahead and sign up. You can choose either the Uruk Mega Boss or the Medicare Assassin. Alright, so you also get access to more content like their animations, such as Angels of Death. So if you're a Blood Angels fan, this is probably up your alley. Lore Masters right here, they're going to have a weekly show called Lore Masters. They have Masterclass right there as well, and as well as a couple battle reports currently up. Okay. The Warhammer 40k app is also supported through Warhammer Plus, so once you get the subscription, you'll also have access to this too, which is kind of nice to build the armies. Kind of clear, you can kind of see pictures, which is pretty nice. But if you are a Battlescribe user, then you're going to probably prefer Battlescribe. Okay. This is the Warhammer Vaults. Again, that's more of the lore books. No audio books, I'm afraid. These are just physical PDFs that you could go ahead and read up on, including every White Dwarf that was released last year. And I'll get to that here in a second once I take you to the Warhammer Vault. Okay. So this is kind of like what is included. Okay. So the Vault here, we'll be going into that a little bit. Again, the Warhammer 40k app, again, you get support for that as well. All access essentially for it looks like anything to make an army. Watch exclusive animated shows on Warhammer TV, thrilling action-packed games, and Masterclass. So there you go. You could go ahead and sign up for that, manage your subscription and whatnot. There's an FAQ as well on the bottom. We're not going to get into that anyway. Alright, so that's the basics of Warhammer Plus. It's a subscription service dedicated directly for Warhammer by Games Workshop. So, after been seeing there, let's go ahead and talk about, well, that's kind of what you'll look like when you get signed up here anyway. You have a mywarhammer.com. It gives you everything for your accounts, your subscriptions, any codes you need to redeem, contact them and whatnot. This is kind of what you'll get. This is the miniature you could select there when you go ahead and start your subscription service. You'll get that on your first year anniversary with being subscribed, which would be, if you subscribe today, it would be August 27th of 2022. You probably get that. It'll be sent to you probably within that time frame. You probably get that in September. Yeah, okay. And again, it's the same stuff I just told you there, just kind of more summarized. The Warhammer 40k app is on Google Play and Apple Store. So is Warhammer TV. They don't really advertise that here, but Warhammer TV is an app that you could go ahead and download for your phone. Okay, so I'm not sure about Warhammer Vault though. I sure didn't see that though going on. Um, so maybe that'll be there still, but we'll go ahead and continue onward here. And let's talk about Warhammer TV. So this one right here got a lot of contention when it comes to uh, people watching that. Just because of these animations right here, Blood and Duty and Death's Hand. As far as Games Workshop was concerned, they had either told people to either join them or essentially, get or shut it down as a cease and desist for their fan animations. This so that they could go ahead and make a series on their Warhammer Plus sites here. Okay, so I watched both of them. Now, honest review, Blood and Duty. Let's start with that. I like this kind of animation. It is a little clunky in my opinion, compared to like other animations that I've seen, but the style reminds me of like remember that show Reboot, kind of like that, like almost like a '90s or like a video game cinematic, but detail is really good, really high quality. Otherwise, it's done kind of like Sin City. Everything's black and white with the exception of like anything that's red. So I assume this is to kind of simulate with the Blood Angel's Red Thirst and the fact that, it's to kind of accentuate the red armor that they wear and anything red. I do like that style where they do like kind of that kind of Sin City flavor to it. But I feel like the character models and faces could have been better. The Gene Stealers do look good in this, though. I'll give you that. Gene Stealers do look pretty good. It's just that the human characters look... I mean, kind of like... Have you ever played Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver? Remember those cinematics? Like, those cinematics were pretty good. And they're still pretty good looking today, but it kind of reminded me of that. Just the way some of them were talking. So very early 90s. Now Hammer and Bolter. Now, Hammer and Bolter is more of an anthology series. If anything, it gives you a little bit of the background when it comes to like different parts of the Imperium of Man so far, or like what have you inside this universe of Warhammer 40k. Now, Death's Hand is of course following a Inquisitor, and then you have Bound for Greatness, which kind of shows off like this kind of library on this imperial world, in which harbors books that preach about the emperor or the imperial man to the people of this world. And there's some darkness that kind of hides and lingers among them. And then you have the Warhammer Bolter Old Baali, which pretty much, if you haven't seen it, it was free on for one day. And it just kind of showed you kind of like what Hammer and Bolter is about. So the main thing with Hammer and Bolter, the animation style, is very comic book style. It's interesting in that regard, but everything's kind of stiff. So, I mean, this one here, it has a lot of movement. Definitely does. But again, very comic booky style. But the voice acting in all of these are really well done. In my opinion, I do enjoy the voice acting. The orc one is very fun. Again, orcs, they're just kind of fun to watch and be around. They're like, but everything as far as voice acting goes is on it right there. Now, I think they could improve on the animations for these. This one though, Bound for Greatness, I think the animation works the best. There's not a lot of movement necessary for this one. There's not a whole lot of action scenes. And it's more of that like kind of quiet intrigue, like that slow burn type of deal. And that's what makes this one really good. This one here, I mean, it could have moved a little bit faster, a little bit more fluid. Everything seemed just a little clunky, as if I'm reading like panel by panel. Old Baali 2, as most people have seen, was pretty stiff when it came to it. It was pretty much like still images with some movement. But again, voice acting is extremely well done. So, I do enjoy that. I also enjoyed how they tell the stories in each one of these. Um, each one of these kind of tells the story from the perspective of the Inquisitor in this one. This one is from the ward that works at this library, and then this one here is told by an orc. Each one is pretty much a different point of view, and it's kind of cool to see that inside Warhammer 40k. You don't really get to see too often different points of views unless you pick up a book and read it. Fortunately for me, I don't have time to be reading books, and I do enjoy a good read every now and then, but you know, we do what we can. This is kind of a nice way to kind of get you that more of that flavor, get you pumped up for Warhammer 40k. Now, do I think they're really good? I think Blood and Duty has potential to be really good, and same thing with Hammer and Bolter. I think they both have pretty good potential there. Hammer and Bolter in this kind of style where they do an anthology type of series, but their animation needs to improve. In my opinion, they need to get a little bit more fluidity to it, a little bit more movement in the action scenes. Like the comic book still art style, webcomic style is fun and all, but I just feel like it needs more work on that one there. Now, Blood and Duty, I think they're doing fine. Definitely need more episodes. They should have launched at least 3 of them on here for the first day. But yeah, that's kind of how it is there. So going down here, again, they have their cinematic trailers. You can watch those for free on YouTube. It's whatever. Exclusive Warhammer shows there. So they have the Masterclass, the Battle Reports, which are for 40k and for Age of Sigmar. Now, I watched both Masterclass and the 40k one. I haven't yet watched the Age of Sigmar one yet, but I'll talk about that maybe another time here. But just gonna want to focus on these two right here. Now, let me skip down to the learn to play real quick before I go ahead and give my critique on these two right here. Now, the learn to play, I feel that the 40k one so far, if that's the one I've seen, the rest of these, I think they're going to follow the same kind of pattern as the 40k one. And it's very well done, in my opinion, very high quality. They have used like really well done graphics, in my opinion, very well special effects. It's very easy to get the basics of Warhammer 40k down. I'm assuming it's going to get you the basics of Age of Sigmar, how to play, just to get you going. Now, the more complex rules, of course, they leave out, and they tell you, well, you can go and read that once you get a few games in, or you could have a friend tell you about these rules. Like for the Psychic Phase, for example, they tell you about Perils of the Warp, but they say, well, we'll kind of ignore that rule for now, as that is a more advanced rule. So, again, if you're a new player, this is kind of a good thing. It's very easy to digest, very easy to watch. If you're more of a visual learner, this is a really good way to start if you want to play any of these games. Very great to see what's going on step by step. And everything is kind of cut off into sections. So I click like the 40k one right now. I'm not going to play any of these, but you can see right here, they give you the intro, basic principles, your turn sequence, command phase, movement, psychic, shooting, and charge, your fight phase, your morale phase, and then any next steps right there, which pretty much tells you, okay, now go get the rule book and go read that. Fair enough. I mean, very easy to adjust. Most of the videos are within 2 minutes. Now, let's get with the masterclass there, okay? So, masterclass episodes. You have currently 2 of them. I would have liked to see more on day 1, but what can you do? Masterclass, you got painting of the pale skin. Now, this is actually a pretty good video. I actually enjoyed it. The painter is very good. Her name's Louise. She's very talented and very cool to see actually how they're painting. They actually zoom into her hand and like the brush, and you see everything really clear. The quality of the video is done really well. Everything is, well, excellent. Quality is there, and of course, as to be expected. Audio is very clear, and you can see exactly what she's doing all the time. And they kind of break down what you need to do in order to get the mixtures right. And um, essentially, the big thing was how did they do the eyes? And I see a lot of them they just poke the model, just keep poking the model, and getting these nice details in just by slowly just poking it. It's a lot easier than does, it's a lot easier when you see it happen. I know Duncan Rhodes before has his classes on YouTube. There's a bunch of painting classes on YouTube. Again, that's another thing though that a lot of people are like don't understand. But this is them painting with their Citadel colors, and not using mainly an airbrush. All these are painted by hand with a brush. So it's assuming you don't own an airbrush. So it's kind of taking you hand by hand. Now the wet blending one is really interesting. It shows you how you can practice with a wet blending and how to get kind of these nice gradations and transformations between the really light tones to the cool tones back to the warm tones. Okay, it's very helpful. I did stick through the whole thing of this, but definitely worth practicing with. They actually tell you to go grab like something flat. Usually it's going to be like a base, and just paint on that and use that as a practicing point. That way you could go ahead and get your wet blending done there. Okay, and then practice, of course. But it's very nice. They literally kind of hold your hand through the wet blending process, which is very good. Extremely helpful for beginners that want to get really good at painting. And I highly recommend watching both of these, especially the head one. A lot of people enjoy that one. I've seen on the Facebook page. But yeah, she does a great job. She's a good teacher. It's a very good videos to watch too. Okay, now you also have these guys here, which I believe have been out for a little while. They're just painting basics, Citadel colors and whatnot there. Okay, now do I think currently this is worth it? No, not really. In my opinion, it's fun to have these ones here. I'm enjoying the lore videos right here from Death's Hand and Blood Duty, but man, they really need to step it up on this. This is a little sad. They don't have a lot of content on here on launch weekend, or launch week anyway, and you have to wait every Wednesday to get more and more. Now, maybe after, I don't know, let's say maybe next summer in June, July, when they actually have more content on here, I would suggest probably subscribing then. So that way you could get the Warhammer TV, then you can watch there. But now if you don't want to subscribe because of what they did to the community on the animation styles and animations, I can completely understand it, and I respect your decisions, and that's up to you. It's your money, you do what you want. This is kind of just what I feel about it here. I think Blood and Duty could be a lot better, and I think the Hammer Bolter series is a good concept and can be executed a lot better. Let's talk about this guy here, the battle report, though, before I kind of finish off on Warhammer TV here. Okay, so the battle report is extremely high quality, of course. Again, the opening is narrated by, I believe, is Toby Longworth, the guy that does the Horus Heresy. If you listen to those audiobooks, he narrates them pretty well. Um, Everything, of course, is painted. Scenery, models, of course, has to be. Audio is very clear. They kind of show you a breakdown of like the overall kind of battle scene, how many command points everybody has. It's very clear cut, very simple, easy to kind of understand what's going on when they're playing the game. Okay, uh, they kind of tell you everything from movement. The cool thing I found out that they do is when they activate the stratagems, they actually go ahead and have a graphic that shows up on the screen that shows you the exact stratagem that they're using when they burn that command point. Same thing with like abilities and whatnot that they use. It shows up on a little graphic on top of the screen, on top of the battle report on their overhead camera, which I think is a fantastic thing to have. Most battle reports on like the YouTube, they just mentioned what they're using, but they don't show what exactly the card it is, which is fine. But for beginners that are trying to understand what it is, I mean, these are good battle reports to kind of watch. I recommend them for more of a beginner for Warhammer. So that's what these battle reports mainly are for, in my opinion. Very well done. And they kind of described like what they were going to do for their the strategies when it comes down to it. But it's a Warhammer battle report, man. So they're gonna make more of these, and more variety, of course, more painted models. We want to see those on the table. I'm really hoping they just don't touch anybody else on YouTube that makes battle reports. As those people do own the product with your IP. So ideally, they'll have their own battle reports with their high graphics and whatnot they want, and then everybody else will have their own battle reports done their own way. Okay? So it's all about having fun in that case there. Now, let's go ahead and get back to excuse me here. So that's that about Warhammer TV. Like I said, I don't think Warhammer TV is really worth it. They needed to have more animations on here if they were going to double down on taking down community animations, or telling people to either join them or shut off their YouTube channel. But yeah, a lot of animosity towards these, and it's very disappointing that they had to go and up and do that. Okay. Anyway, Warhammer Vault. So Warhammer Vault is a part of the subscription, and it gives you a bunch of readable lore that is done in the PDF format. Now, this is okay. You also get access to all of the 2020 White Dwarf magazines that have been released last year, which is also pretty nice. If you have missed an issue, you'll have access to that, and then you'll have access to Visions, which is like snippets from White Dwarfs on the painted miniatures. If you just want to get some inspiration on what to paint and just kind of want to see some nice minis that are painted through for their White Dwarfs there, you have the Warhammer Visions right there, and there's plenty of them to go ahead and look at. Now, the lore books, these ones here, they're all really nice. This one here is a Codex supplement. This is here from the Gathering Storm sections there, where it leads to, Gilliman coming back from the grave. But overall, they're okay. If you click one, let's say for example, it might take a little bit to load up. As you can see, the document's taking a bit. And then usually if I kind of scroll down after that loads up, it's still loading. Now my internet connection is usually pretty well, so I don't know what's going on there, but it's coming in. It's definitely coming in. But like if you want to skip ahead to the actual lore part, and keep going, it's gonna take a little bit for it to kind of read up. But I mean, if you have a faster connection than me, then yeah, probably no problem. But regardless, I personally would prefer to have the physical copy in front of me than to read all these. It'd be nice if these had like an audio version to them on here. That way you could go ahead and paint your models while you're listening to some lore. I know they're going to have like a lore videos on their Warhammer TV or something like that, but in reality, like, you know, it's just some light reading you could do. I think most of these books are within 100 and something pages, maybe 200 if you're lucky. I think some of, like, the first one of the Gathering Storm is just 103 pages, for example. But overall, I think, you know, it's nice if you just want to kind of catch up on where everything's at in 40k, and same thing with Age of Sigmar. And what's going on with that? It's like, what's up with Shadespire, Nightbolt, what's with Beastgrave, and what's with Dire Chasm, which is the one they're currently on for the Underworlds there, okay? That's kind of their skirmish game. But yeah, so tell me what you guys think about Warhammer Plus. Just kind of like a little quick overview. I personally, in my opinion, I currently don't think it's worth it. Now, if you think about it, if you subscribe for the whole year and you pay the $60, well, guess what? The model right here, then you could say that model is worth about $60. Okay. Now, currently, you know, I'd say just wait. If you want to go ahead and try to get this guy here, you got about a whole year too. Or if you want the orc one, you could wait about, you know, you've got a whole year to work with, okay? But I really think they need to step it up. You know, if they're gonna make this thing where, you know, your animations are gonna be their priorities, they really need to step up on the animations, add more content to this. They're doing it every Wednesday, so next Friday I'll go ahead and post up my second review for week 2 of Warhammer Plus and let you guys know what I feel about it. But if you want it, here's the link down below. But tell me, guys, what you guys think about this. Do you guys think it's a good thing? Do you guys think it's a bad thing? I'm personally, you know, I'm not impressed at the moment. Honestly, there could be more on here. Definitely want more. I did have some enjoyment out of, you know, the Hammer and Bolters and Blood and Duty. Probably watch that one again because that one's a bit longer, but you know, it's just underwhelming currently. I believe most streaming services when they first release have a lot more content on here. But again, this is just a Warhammer focused type of one, and you know, if they're gonna really make this as like, hey, you know, pay for the service, you know, I want more value out of this service. You know, add some audiobooks on here, guys. Maybe add the Black Library to it. Maybe show Amazon, hey, you know, you don't need Audible. We got our own thing. But hey, that's my thing. But yeah, so tell me down below what you guys think about Warhammer Plus. Do you hate it? Do you not? This was my 2 cents on it. So again, strictly my opinion. Again, I'll go ahead and post another video next Friday about it and tell you what you guys missed on for what's coming up next week, okay? They really just should have made their own thing on here. Like, these guys here should have been fine. They should have just hired more animators, realistically. They didn't have to go ahead and tell animators to join them or just lose their channel. That was kind of dumb, you know? Like, there's people that have passion projects. They do love your lore. They do love this stuff. So, I just don't get it, man. I really don't. Alright, guys. This is Christopher, trying to be as positive as possible. Again, like I said, there is some good stuff here, like Masterclass. I feel is a very good series that they definitely needed more of on day 1. the 40k battle report was pretty nice. And then I believe I do enjoy the Learn to Play series they got right here, which is also really good if you're brand new to this game series or want to get in. Even the new kill teams on here, so you could kind of learn the basics. So all these are more of the basics. It'd be cool to have more advanced rules to them, but again, you know, it is what it is. Alright guys, but until next time, don't forget to never stop smiling.